how are you? I hope that you're all doing amazing, and I want to welcome you to this Mommy's Love video. And today I wanted to talk about something that I've been meaning to talk about for a while, because I've been talking to lately and I've had a lot of questions from moms that have had issues with breastfeeding because they've had a baby that was born like a preterm baby, or a baby that is in the NICU, or issues that they've had basically where they've not been able to breastfeed their baby, like actually nurse them as such. So they've had to exclusively pump and that way be able to give breast milk to their baby. And I wanted to talk about that because sometimes I feel like we don't give enough credit to those moms, and they so deserve it, because breastfeeding is hard. And a lot of the moms that actually come up like have to face a situation where they decide to just exclusively pump. It's a really tough decision because breastfeeding is hard. And all these moms say it, breastfeeding is really hard. Most of the time they didn't realize that they had to work so hard at breastfeeding, and that breastfeeding they had to try so much in it, that it was such a sacrifice and such an effort that they just expected it to be something natural. And then they're faced with this situation that not only is breastfeeding hard, but they have this tiny baby, or this fragile baby, that they know they need breast milk so badly, because we know, especially with babies that are in like intensive care or something like that, that breast milk is amazing to help them in their recovery so they can make progress to get better. So breast milk is super important to these moms, especially these moms. I think like formula is not something that you would even want to consider, because you know the benefit that breast milk has to these preemie babies. So the situation is, when a mom is like this and she's not able to latch on her baby, she exclusively pumps and then is able to give a bottle to the baby, which is a lot easier to do than the breast, especially when the baby is so fragile and so weak, and you really just don't have time to waste for your baby to be consuming all this energy to be able to latch onto your breast. So exclusively pumping, I just wanted to explain a little bit what it's like, because it's something that I spoke with a mom she's called Amanda. She wrote a book actually called For Exclusively Pumping Moms, and she took me through a little bit of her journey. And it's amazing, because with us moms that directly breastfeed our babies, we can do co-sleeping, we have a lot of different options. But when you're pumping, you have to, like, you're basically, and the term that they use was like a slave to the pump. So you have to be pumping like every 2 hours, and on top of that, remember, that's nonstop. So that's through the night, waking up through the night 4 or 5 times through the night, whatever is necessary. That's having to clean all your pump parts, having to stress all the time, do I have my wires, do I have this, every time that you're going out the house, because you're gonna have to pump when you go out the house. Attaching all your equipment on, making sure all your equipment is sterilized, has been cleaned how it has to be cleaned. So there's a lot of effort that is involved and a lot of sacrifice. And think of it this way, you can just kind of like put your baby on, and then you have this moment with your baby and you can kind of drift off or whatever. When you're with the pump, you're just with that pump, and that pump is loud, that pump is noisy, and you get all the symptoms too that you would like being a breastfeeding mom. You have sore nipples, you get cracked nipples, you get mastitis, you get clogged ducts. All those things don't go away either just because you are using a pump. And then continuously, I hear all these moms that they exclusively pump. They spend so much money too, because they're continually having to get new pumps, because their pumps have so much use, flanges and tubes to make sure that everything is working how it has to be to get the max out of every pumping session. They have to go through like supplements to help increase their milk supplies, and teas and lactation cookies and all this stuff to help them with their milk production so they can keep it up, because we know that the pump is not nearly as effective in regards to extracting the milk from the breast as a baby would. So it's a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice, and I really admire these moms, because it's like breastfeeding is an amazing thing that we do for our babies, and all breastfeeding moms in general, you know, it's like it is a huge effort that we make, and it is a huge part of us that we're kind of putting on hold to put our baby's need first because that's a choice that we made. But I think an exclusively pumping mom she goes like that extra step, that extra mile, because she's making all this additional effort than you would have if you're just kind of like latching your baby on and that's it. And it kind of it becomes your pumping journey, and it becomes kind of your mission. And I think anybody that is exclusively pumping, whether it's 3 months or 6 months or a year or 2 years, whatever time frame that you've chosen to go on this pumping journey, I completely salute you and I admire your dedication, because it's so much dedication and so much determination, because there's so many other things that you could be doing when you're having this pumping sessions, and it makes it hard when you're at work, and it makes it hard when you want to go out and do other things and kind of like get on with life after you've had a baby. So it is very, very challenging, and I totally admire you and praise you for that amazing effort that you've done for your baby. So I just wanted to take that time today to explain to a lot of the mommies that are on this group what an exclusively pumping mom does and what it means, and how amazing she is, and just praise her, because I don't think that we do that enough. And I think that we kind of assume that to kind of get that title of breastfeeding, you have to physically nurse your baby, and I don't think it's that way at all. I think when you're an exclusively pumping mom, it's like an amazing thing that you're doing. It's like breastfeeding, but I think it's like an extra step. And I really do admire the amazing job that you do as exclusively pumping moms. I know that we're not an exclusively pumping mom group, and there's lots of them out there, but if you are an exclusively pumping mom, I welcome you to our group, and I hope that you get encouragement from our stories and from our journeys and from everything that we share as moms. And if you are an exclusively pumping mom, please raise your hand, write me a comment. I'd love to personally salute you and praise you for the amazing job that you do. And if you're a mom too that has maybe recently had a baby and you're frustrated because you're not able to breastfeed her because your baby is in the NICU, or you're having problems with latching or tongue ties or anything like that, and you feel that you really want to be able to breastfeed, and breastfeeding is the feeding choice, breast milk is the feeding choice for your baby, exclusively pumping is definitely an option that you can consider, and you can still give your baby all the nutrients and all the amazing thing that breast milk supplies, but just a little bit different. And I can definitely share some tips with you and a lot of knowledge and information that I know from other moms that I know that have exclusively pumped, so I can share with you a little bit of that information and give you some insight and some light on that amazing journey too, because it's also an amazing journey. Because like I said, you don't have some of the experiences that you do have with like directly nursing or breastfeeding, but it's an amazing journey too, because you know that all this breast milk, even though you're not able to give it directly to your baby, is doing your baby so like incredible things for them basically, and that you are that you chose not to give up, that even though you had challenges, even though you had obstacles along the way, you did not let those obstacles bring you down, and you chose to breastfeed your baby no matter what. And that's what your baby is getting, your milk that you made, that you know exactly what's in it, and your baby's thriving because of that. So I think that's an amazing thing to be able to say. And these moms are heroes. They pump through everything. I've even heard stories of moms pumping while having sex, crazy stuff like that. So that's amazing that you can make pumping kind of like incorporated into your everyday life, and be able to do it whenever and whatever you do. So that's an amazing thing. So I'm gonna share a post from a mom from an exclusively pumping group that I belong to, an amazing story that she shared. And I'm not gonna say her name because she hasn't given me permission to share it yet, so hopefully she will. But it was such an inspirational story, and it kind of took me through this like roller coaster ride of emotions that she went through, and I'd love to share it with you. Hopefully we'll get to share it. I already sent her a message, so hopefully she'll let me, because it really just gives encouragement and empowerment, and kind of lets you know exactly what that journey is like. So if you're a pumping mom, kisses and hugs and love to you, because you're doing an amazing thing for your baby. Feel proud, feel extremely proud, because exclusively pumping is not for any type of mom. It's for like a warrior, like kick-ass mom. So you should feel proud of yourself, mommy. Bye-bye.